everyone, welcome back to Shall We Stamp. I'm Dawn Duvall, and today I am going to show you how to use this wonderful bundle, Jar of Love. This is a 37 stamps in this set with its framelits, and if you purchase it as a bundle, then you get a 10% discount. There are so many things that you can do with this stamp set, it's unbelievable. So without further ado, let's get started and make this card. Now we're going to place our Flirty Flamingo piece of cardstock inside of our wood grain folder. And I'm going to run it through the Big Shot. Now keep in mind, when you do this, you always want to do a sandwich. So you put a clear plate down first, then your folder, and then the clear plate on top, and then we're going to run it through. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that come out with a new platform for the Big Shot, which is in the new catalog. And the price of that is $26, and it doesn't have these two flaps like we used to have in the old one, so it makes it a lot easier and less cumbersome for us to crank our cardstock through. Okay, so now we have our piece of cardstock, Flirty Flamingo, run through the wood grain embossing folder. Okay, now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fold our cardstock, and we're using an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock. It's soft suede, and I've scored it in the middle at 4 1/4. So we're going to fold our cardstock. You want to make sure that you've got your edges even. And then I always take my bone folder, and from the center I go out and come back to the center and go in, and then go all the way across. And that just gives me a really good crease in my cardstock. Now we've already ran the Flirty Flamingo through the embossing folder. We're going to attach a piece of the Watermelon Wonder mini striped ribbon towards the bottom, and I'm just going to take some adhesive and put that right towards the bottom of the back of my cardstock, and then I'm going to attach just to get it going, and then I'm just going to pull it over to where I want it to go and make sure it's even, and then I'll go ahead and fold it under, and I've got the tapes there, so that's going to hold it down. I want to take our linen thread, and I'm going to wrap it, because you know it's really popular right now when you see all these little squirrely loop-de-dooey things. So I'm going to wrap this around my fingers. I'm going to wrap this about 3 times. Let's do 4. And then we're going to cut it. And I want to kind of loosen it up a little bit. So let me cut this. I'm going to trim this down just a little bit. And then all we're going to do is I'm going to open this up just a little bit. I want to get it loose. And then I'm going to lay this underneath jar that we've cut. All right, now we're going to stamp our large jar from the Jar of Love stamp set with the lid, as you can see, and we're going to use soft suede. So we're going to stamp these on a piece of scrap Whisper White, and then we're going to cut them out with the framelits or thinlits, if you will, using the Big Shot. So I'm just going to go ahead and stamp those right on here. All right, so we've got those stamped. And let me move this out of the way and bring in the Big Shot. And we'll go ahead and cut these out. So we're going to use our magnetic platform. And as always, we're going to put our one piece of clear plate right there. We're going to make our sandwich. And again, I'm using the large jar. And there's our thinlet. Nope, I'm sorry, they are called framelits because we're framing. So that's the difference. We're framing an item. So I'm getting these on here. And I'm just lining them up to where I think it looks good because it's going to cut it out. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put my other plate on top because I'm making my sandwich. And then we're going to run this through the Big Shot. And then you're going to hear some crunching as it goes through, which is okay. It means it's cutting through. The first time I heard that, I thought I broke the machine, but that's just the normal sound. Let me move this out of the way. And we'll go ahead and take these out. And there you go. You'll see we've got our lid. That's a piece we don't need. There we go. We have our lid and our jar. All right, so now we're going to move on to stamp our hearts on here. So let's get that out. And we're going to use the heart that is in this stamp set as well. Now you can see the stamp set is a great buy. Jar of Love, it's got, this is the photopolymer, has 37 stamps in here. Look at all of this. If you have not looked at this in the catalog, you definitely need to take a look at that. So let me find my heart. Stamp a couple of hearts on our jar, and we're going to use the Flirty Flamingo. So I'm just going to stamp them in random, and there's no right or wrong way to do this. So I'm just going to stamp some inside my jar, and then I'm going to stamp the thank you. All right, so that's good. So we're going to leave that like that. And now I'm going to stamp the thanks in soft suede so that it matches and everything coordinates. I'm going to put it a little bit below the lid, and I'm just going to stamp thanks. And now we're going to take our Wink of Stella. Whoopsie, let me close my ink pads up. I just have this thing about that because it never fails. I'll stick my fingers in it. Now we're going to take our Wink of Stella, and this is the clear Wink of Stella, which we also carry these in the catalog. And I'm just going to lightly roll over. Once you see the stuff come out, you don't need to squeeze it. So I'm just going to rub it a little bit over my hearts, and you might not be able to see with the camera, but let me move it a little closer and show you. You might be able to see the shine. Oh yeah, I see it now. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so now let's get our stuff, and we'll put our card together. Thread underneath, as you can see, and you can pull it out if you want more or less to show. So I'm going to go ahead and add some dimensionals because I want this popped up on my card. These, one in each corner. I'm going to put one on top of the thread just to give it another little help there. Right, now the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and adhere my piece of cardstock to the front of my card. For me, I just think it's easier to go ahead and try to attach everything. All right, so let's go ahead and put that on here. So again, this is our Flirty Flamingo using the wood grain embossing folder. All right, now I'm going to attach with my dimensionals my jar, because I've already stamped it and put my little hearts on it using our Wink of Stella. I'm going to go ahead and lay this right about here, and there's no right or wrong place of where you want it. And again, you can play with your thread to get it however you want it to look. Now for the lid, I used our new foam strips that they've come out with, that Stampin' Up's come out with this year, and you can find those on page 182, and you get 2 packages. The foam adhesive strips, you get 2 in the package, if you can see, and this is $8. These are awesome, and you're going to see, if you haven't already noticed, that we're doing a lot of shaker cards and other types of cards that we can use these foam adhesive strips because they make it really easy for us to be able to move things around and position it where you want it. So I stuck it on here. It's a little bit thick, probably for the lid, but I've kind of squished it together so that you don't see it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put my lid on my jar, and I'm just going to lay it right underneath my jar so it looks like it's attached, and I'm going to put that there. All right, and then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to attach a ribbon made with that same watermelon mini striped ribbon. I went ahead and already tied that. So I'm going to use a couple of glue dots to attach that to my dimensional. Doesn't show, and so you can hide it. There you go. Isn't that a gorgeous card? And you really could use this for any kind of occasion. If you haven't had a chance to take a look at this, pull up, go to my website at shallwestamp.com and take a look at this. There's so many different alternative uses you can use this jar for. Some really cute ideas. All right, thank you so much. If you need anything, I will have the list of supplies at the end of the video. And here are 2 other cards that I made using the Jar of Love. This one is absolutely cute. We used the small jar, and it says Best Fishes. And then I added some more enamel hearts that they've come out with. And then this is fireflies. I thought this was really cute. So the jar, the lid's fallen over. It says, "You've light up my life." And then here are the fireflies. So there's different things that you can do with this stamp set. So again, go to my website, shallwestamp.com, and make sure that you sign up for a newsletter.